We had not done a lot of talking about Ohio State recruiting lately. We did it a few weeks ago when Jakeem Stewart came up from the Bayou to take an unofficial visit to Ohio State. He is still scheduled to take an official visit to Ohio State once again for the game Thanksgiving weekend. And so I'm going to start doing more of this stuff because recruiting is very, very important, especially as we get closer to the early signing day. Well, Ohio State this weekend is welcoming 3 recruits in, and they're all really, really good. One of them is currently an Alabama commit who Carlos Locklyn has made a big impression on. It's Anthony Turbo Rogers. You watch the film, you understand why he is the guy that has a nickname Turbo. His film is amazing. Trust me, go check it out on 11warriors.com. They have an article. I believe Garrick is the author. Yeah, Garrick Hodge is the author of this article. Does a great job at covering recruiting for them. And there's a clip of his huddle tape, 2 minutes and 41 seconds to be exact. It does not take very long for you to realize this dude's different, which is why Ohio State has been pursuing him. And even though he's been committed to Alabama since June of 2023, Carlos Locklyn doesn't care. He's comfortable adding 3 guys in the upcoming recruiting cycle. Isaiah West and Bo Jackson, in-state kid Bo Jackson, are still both verbally committed to Ohio State. And Locklyn wants 3. Now, myself, I've been up in the air about should Ohio State do 2? Should Ohio State do 3? I don't know. But if you're able to get Isaiah West, Bo Jackson, and Turbo Rogers all in one recruiting class, you're winning. You're absolutely winning. Now, maybe you still want to go out there and get a transfer because let's just say that Henderson and Judkins go to the NFL. Then you might go to the transfer portal to get 1 or maybe 2 more in to kind of fill that room up with some experience. But if you get this youth movement with these 3 running backs, with a guy in Locklyn who doesn't want to recruit or even coach a guy who's a soft batch cookie, that's his quote, not mine. He said it in an interview. I was using his own words. He don't want to coach no soft batch cookie. He doesn't want them in his room. I think Ohio State's winning. Now, Turbo Rogers, when you watch the film, what would you expect when you hear a guy's name is Turbo? He's fast, man. He's fast. I mean, he has track speed, and he's utilizing it on the football field. Very, very shifty. He's great in space. There were times that they had him at the running back position, put him out for routes, caught that boy in space, made a quick move, and got upfield. There were other times they handed the ball off to him. He got upfield. Nobody could catch him. I mean, I don't know his 40 time, and I don't care what his 40 time is. My eyeballs told me he was the fastest guy on the field. And Ohio State is going to try to figure out, well, Isaiah West's skill set and Bo Jackson's skill set, they can play together. And then when you add in Turbo Rogers, who could also play in the slot, could play in the backfield, be somewhat a Swiss Army knife, that's just another tool in Ohio State's bag. And we know Chip Kelly has been in his bag lately. And if you want to add a guy like a Turbo Rogers to Ohio State and flip that thing, flip him from being an Alabama commit to being an Ohio State commit, you're winning. And I think it's possible. I truly think it's possible that Ohio State can flip Turbo Rogers from being an Alabama commit and to come to Ohio State. And no, I don't think it's a knock on Kalen DeBoer and saying DeBoer's doing a bad job. No. I think it's a credit to Carlos Locklyn and the impact Locklyn has made on this young man. Remember Brian Smith? We did a lot of recruiting shows with him for at least a year plus now. Well, Brian Smith is down there. He knows Turbo Rogers personally, and he's talked about the impact Locklyn has had on Turbo Rogers now, even though he's committed to Alabama. Think about that. Locklyn came in and quickly said, oh, we got 2? Man, let's go get number 3. Coach, he's committed to somebody. He's committed to that school down there in Tuscaloosa. I don't care. I don't care at all. I want him, and I want to create a relationship, sustain a relationship, and make that thing so good, so solid, he's going to want to leave that school down there in the South where he lives and come play at Ohio State. Ohio State has a great track record of of running backs. I mean, think about just the history of the sport in Columbus, Ohio. Running backs all over the place. Guys transferring in, Trey Sermon, once he figures out the offense and gets healthy, man, Great run at the end of that 2020 season. You got J.K. Dobbins going for a 2,000 plus. Ezekiel Elliott's run in the 2014 season all the way to winning the Natty. You go back to Eddie George and Keith Byers and all these great guys, man. Ohio State's history of running backs is great. And if I'm a guy down there in the South, might have a different skill set than Eddie George and a different skill set than maybe Ezekiel Elliott. That don't matter. I want to go to a school that can develop me to being a great running back and that can help me get to the next level. That's the Ohio State University. If he goes to Alabama, cool. If he comes to Ohio State, cool. But I truly think that the way that Locklyn has made a living, literally got promoted and got the job from Oregon to Ohio State because he knows how to build relationships. He knows how to coach running backs. That's going to be very clear. This recruitment right now at Tobo Rogers. And it wouldn't shock me if Rogers said, nah, I ain't going to be a Crimson Tide. I want to go be a Buckeye. Two more visitors that are coming in this weekend. Savion Hyder, I hope I'm saying his name correctly. He's in the class of 2026, the number one running back in that class. He's a five-star running back from Virginia, 5'11", 182 pounds. He will be in Columbus this weekend. And then also Derek Cooper, who is the former teammate of Jeremiah Smith. He is a running back from Florida, four-star kid that I do think Ohio State is going to try to start pursuing. And I think Ohio State wants two backs in a class. Now, when you have Savion Hyder, I hope I'm saying it correctly, standing at, let me get my notes here, 5'11", 182. And then you got Derek Cooper, who is 6'1", 190. The body types are a little bit different. One's taller and heavier. I do think these two guys, not saying they're going to come to Ohio State, but this is what we're going to expect. You're not going to get just one running back in. You're going to get multiple running backs in at the same time in the same class, and they're going to get to know each other. So, relationship. If they start building relationships early, it's easier for Ohio State to have multiple running backs in a class and to keep them and not potentially lose one later in the cycle. It's possible. It might happen. But I think Locklyn's doing great things right now. You bring a guy in that's already committed to Alabama, but you want to flip him, and you're bringing in two guys from the next cycle, having those guys in at the same time, they can share stories. They can bounce ideas back off of each other. And they can say, man, what has Locklyn done for you, man? And let me just tell you this list. This dude's been very, very helpful. What has Locklyn done for you? What impact has he made on you so far? And they just start talking and becoming boys. Next thing you know, Locklyn's like, okay, where you going? Here. Okay, where you going? I'm playing for you. Wow, y'all both at the same time. Well, man, you impacted him and you impacted me. We both want to play for you and get coached by you and be the best running backs we can be under your tutelage. That's what we might be looking at. Just like Ohio State is expected to pummel Purdue tomorrow, Carlos Locklyn might lock down a couple commits tomorrow during Ohio State's next game of the season.